Is one credit line just a name? Or is it a symbol of someone's place in the team? So BTS finally returned with a full group album Arirang after completing their military service. For fans, this was a huge emotional moment, but in the middle of that excitement, one detail started spreading quickly online. Jin's name was missing from the album credits. At first glance, some people might think, oh, maybe this was just a scheduling issue. Maybe it was just a practical problem behind the scenes. But for some Korean fans, it did not feel like just an administrative issue. To them, this looked bigger than that. It felt connected to BTS's identity as a team and to the symbolism of all 7 members being together. So in this video, I'm not trying to quickly decide whether Jin was being excluded or not. I want to look at why some fans become this upset and why this issue grew into something much more emotional. Because in the end, the real issue is not just the missing credit itself. It is how Korean fans read that absence. First, here is the explanation that has been reported. According to the media reports, Jin continued his solo tour after being discharged from the military. And because of that, he joined the US songwriting camp later than the other members. As a result, his name was not included in the songwriting and composing credits for this album. If you only look at the explanation, you might think, well, then maybe it just couldn't be helped. But that is not the point that upsets some fans. What some fans are really reacting to is this. Did the company and the overall management failed to protect the image of BTS as a 7-member team? And that feeling became even stronger because of Jin's recent role. After military service, he was one of the first members to come back out front to keep BTS visible, to promote, to work, and to carry out solo tour. So for some fans, this does not simply feel like, oh, the schedule did not work out. Emotionally, it feels more like this. The person who ran first for the team is left with nothing but a blank space? That is where the hurt begins. And for some fans, that hurt slowly turned into anger. Then, as live stream clips, facial expressions, and short online edits spread around, people started saying things like this. Was Jin the only one being left out? This looks so strange. And from there, among some parts of the fandom, is this bullying frame started growing. Now, to be clear, we should be careful here. This is still interpretation that grew inside the fandom. It is not something that can be stated as a confirmed fact. So the point is not that fans got angry over one single line of text. The point is that this missing line seemed to clash with the image BTS has built for years, the image of being 7 together. And this is where the culture part becomes really important. Why does this feel bigger to some Korean fans? If you only look at it as a music industry issue, it may not fully make sense. You have to look at it through the emotional logic of Korean idol culture. In Korean idol culture, a group is not just a collection of talented people who sing and dance together. It is also a team story. People who trained together, struggled together, grew together, and made it together. In Korea, people are often deeply moved by that kind of team narrative. We went through hard times together. We stayed together until the end. The older members takes care of the younger ones. That kind of teamwork emotion is a huge part of what makes K-pop group storytelling so powerful. And BTS is one of the strongest examples of that. For years, they have built the message that BTS is 7. So when the oldest member Jin is symbolically absent in the moment like this, some fans naturally feel that absence much more strongly. To many international viewers, this may look like just a credit issue, but to some Korean fans, it can feel like a question of contribution, a question of identity, a question of a relationship, even a crack in the team's story. And here, there is one Korean word that really matters, 서운하다. This word is very hard to translate perfectly into English. You can get close with words like sad, hurt, upset, or disappointed. None of them fully match it. Because 서운하다 is not just about feeling bad. It is the feeling you get when something feels missing in the relationship you trust, or when someone did not feel the emotional place you thought they naturally would. So in this case, some fans are not simply angry. The deeper feeling is more like, this is hurtful. This feels empty in a way it should not. I thought this relationship, this team, meant something more complete. That is much closer to 서운하다. So the reason some Korean fans are upset is not only because they suspect exclusion, it is because they feel that the sense of this is a team built together has been shaken. So saying right away that Jin was definitely being bullied would probably go too far. That may be a bigger conclusion than the facts we actually have, but at the same time, it is also not enough to say, well, it was just a scheduling problem, so that is the end of it. Because for some fans, this is not really about percentages of participation. It is about how strongly BTS has presented itself as a 7-member group and how seriously fans have believed in that symbol. So maybe the better question is not was Jin bullied, but rather why did some fans feel that this looked like exclusion? That is the more important emotional question here. In the end, this is not a video attacking BTS. It is a video explaining why some Korean fans read one missing line not just as an empty space, but as something that feels like a crack in relationship. So now I want to ask you, do you see this as just a scheduling issue or as a mistake that failed to protect the team symbolism? Is one credit line just a name or is it a symbol of someone's place in the team? Let me know what you think in the comments.